Yo, what's going on? It's AP, and you already know. Oh, yeah, the boy is here, and I'm always on the spot. And this has been a historic week for so many different reasons. Kamala Harris is our new vice president here in the States. So many African Americans that's being appointed to prominent positions in the Joe Biden presidential administration. But things also got pretty historic in the NFL this week too, y'all. The Washington football team, that's right, formerly known as the Washington Redskins, will promote Jennifer King to full-time offensive assistant, making her the first black woman to be a full-time coach in the NFL. Now, Jennifer spent this past season working with the running backs as a full-time intern. So she's definitely been elevated. I think that's amazing. Anytime our people, that's right, black people, too black, too strong, anytime we're being pushed up and moved into prominent positions in any company, not just in sports, but especially in the NFL, because, you know, the history of the NFL has been shoddy when it comes to, promoting, African Americans to these prominent positions like offensive coordinator or head coach. But, in any business, I think that it's amazing when an African American is promoted to a top position. And like I said, the NFL, even though I salute them on that note, they still have a lot of work to do because there's still not enough black head coaches out there in the NFL. Off the top of my head, I think there's only 2 black head coaches, maybe 3 head coaches, but I think there's only 2. And in the NFL, the players, all the players in the NFL are 70% black. So, that scale, that balance, that Libra scale with the scales at the end is definitely seesawed in the wrong direction. Right now, there's only 1 head coaching position still open at the time of this video, and that's with the Houston Texans. And the rumor is, y'all, the 2 head coaches that's at the top of the list in the running are Buffalo Bills defensive coordinator. That's right, Buffalo Bills. Shout out to the Bills. You already know. Buffalo Bills defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier, and also Eric Bieniemy, the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator. But you know what? I'm not just going to celebrate just yet, because even though it seems like one of these 2 coordinators, either Leslie Frazier or Eric Bieniemy from the Chiefs, might make it to being the Houston Texans head coach, we've seen some crazy things happen previously. We've seen and heard before where African Americans have been in a running for top positions, and then out of nowhere, an unknown dark horse candidate, someone that no one has ever heard of, plateaus over them and gets that position that's open. I mean, check it. Just let's go to Detroit for a second. Shout out to all my Detroit players. For real. I love y'all over there in Detroit. I love y'all ladies too. But the Detroit Lions in the NFL, the National Football League, they hired Dan Campbell as their new head coach. I mean, let's look at Dan Campbell. I mean, he's the stereotypical football player, 6'5", tall, pretty stocky, pretty big. And he came across, y'all, I'm not gonna front, as a meathead in his press conference. Pretty much he came off as an ass at his press conference, an asshole.
So this team's gonna be built on, we're gonna kick you in the teeth, all right? And when you punch us back, we're gonna smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up, and on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up, and then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down, all right? And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing, all right? That's going to be the mentality.
Now listen, I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to get y'all ready. But this is the man that got hired. But the bigger question is, now, would you rather have a head coach that's going to come at you like that? Kind of like an abrasiveness and an arrogance like, let's say, Donald Trump would? Would you rather have a coach like Campbell, or would you rather have a coach like this?
It's a blessing. It's always great to be mentioned. It's always great to have that opportunity to be considered in those roles. But when it's all said and done with, I work for a great organization. I work for a great boss. I work for a great owner. And on top of that, Okay? We got some great people in this building.
And that right there was a clip from Eric Bieniemy. That's right, the same Eric Bieniemy I was talking about a second ago, the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. That was him last season discussing how the whole interview process for the head coach was going for him last season. Notice, key thing I said last season, which means that he didn't get hired to be a head coach last season. And he's going through the whole same process all over again this season. So it's a never-ending cycle. You would think that Eric, would be first in line for a head coaching position this season, at the end of this season, considering, there were like 7 or 6 vacancies or 8 vacancies in the NFL. You would think that he would be first in line to get snatched up, considering he has won a Super Bowl and he's under the coaching tree and tutelage of one of the most successful head coaches in NFL history. That's right, Andy Reid. And Eric Bieniemy also was the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs under Patrick Mahomes, who has been nothing but knockout, lights out, a star quarterback, an African-American quarterback, since he came into the NFL just roughly 3 years ago. So yes, absolutely, Eric Bieniemy deserves his shot. Leslie Frazier from the Buffalo Bills deserves his shot. Leslie Frazier won a Super Bowl with the 1985 Chicago Bears 30 plus years ago. So he knows about winning and he knows about coaching. So yes, this country is changing. This country is going from a shade of pale to a shade of brown, a lighter shade of brown, a darker shade of brown. It's going from white to black. The country is transforming overnight. You can't hold us down. You cannot hold us down. We here, we ain't going nowhere. And I ain't going nowhere because I'm AP.